MAGA just lost the whole thing. The plot, the narrative, the country, the world. More than that, because of this cult leader that they've picked, who has no impulse control and can't stay on message, they sabotaged the whole bipartisan pyramid scheme where the Epstein class gets to rule over the rest of us like peasants. It's all exposed. Imperialism, Zionism, white nationalism, militarism, every project that's been dividing the people of planet Earth into labor camps while they roam around without any borders, just pillaging the whole place, thinking we can't see them doing it. We see everything. Now it's only a matter of time. All of us doing our parts, swimming down, we can put this empire to sleep. So for the Magans who are still holding on, let's go over where it all went wrong, give you a minute to shake the slime off your eyes and get oriented. You just took the whole thing out. Death for disrespecting authority as official federal policy triggered the end of any semblance of legitimacy, meaning you're no longer governing by consent. You don't deserve any tax revenues. We don't owe you any interest payments on anything because we're no longer in your debt. We certainly don't owe any more rent, especially not to just exist on our planet, and you don't have any need to see any of our papers. You have violated all your own standards, American, constitutional, Christian, and you abolished the police. There are no more federal law enforcement organizations in the United States. You have dispensed with law and order. Law requires due process, procedures, consistent regulations. Order requires prioritization of public safety, de-escalation and conflict resolution, and most important, public accountability. All we can see now is an Aryan corporate crime ring occupying our federal buildings under false pretenses, having lied about every reason they wanted to hold office when they were elected by less than a third of eligible voters, the other 2/3 not wanting to touch any of you guys with a 10-foot pole. And don't worry that this is just going to keep going on repeat anymore, because the corporate Democrat Party, it's also over and done. As Ta-Nehisi Coates told them, if they can't stand up to genocide, why should we believe they could stand up for democracy? All those gatekeepers do is summarize current events, then ask for donations. What, AIPAC, the fossil fuel and weapons industries haven't paid them enough? Palestine was the moment any illusion of their respect for a rules-based order completely collapsed. We see them too in flagrant breach of what was left of any social contract, failing even now to deny unanimous consent, demand some roll calls, use any of the vast powers at their disposal to shut down the federal government, which is the least you can do if a so-called public official threatens absolute immunity to assassinate any citizen anytime for, let's see if this rings a bell, freely assembling to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Yeah, grinding the federal government to a halt would be the very moderate position if expressing the liberties guaranteed by the Bill of Rights, now according to you guys, makes someone a domestic terrorist. A label made even more meaningless, having been applied to moms and teachers, students, people who were working on a roof or at a department store, any excuse to just snatch bodies off the streets and fill for-profit concentration camp quotas, while threatening to invade every smaller country on earth because our ruling class isn't rich enough yet. This isn't impressive. It's not convincing. And it doesn't matter if your favorite goose-stepping billionaire who bought Twitter tweets at us 500 more times every day. 167 million people, 2/3 of this country, are seeing through all of this now. You have made everything a joke. Oh, sorry, billionaire Twitter guy's about to be a trillionaire. A trillion of what? Federal Reserve notes? Nobody even wants to trade in your currency anymore. Everything with your fingerprints on it, it's all going to the lab. So take a seat and let's go over what's going to happen next. First of all, there is no scenario where you win. You don't even know what winning looks like because cults need permanent enemies. So even winning is losing because you're eventually just going to eat yourself. So here's how you kick the ball into your own goal. In the last few months, you've got huge majorities In polls done in Lancet and other actual reputable polls showing that masses of people have now been de-radicalized, realizing we're all human beings, that we actually have the freedom to move wherever we want to on our planet anytime we want. You know what? We can speak whatever language we feel like, and we're all the chosen people, chosen to be here on all the land, which is all holy. And a few pedophiles can't claim to own entire islands, and that includes Turtle Island. Yeah, you can't own continents. They're ours, like the whole family ours, like how the soil is ours, the air, the water, the food, the sun power, the wind. Let me say it again. All of us have the right to move around this whole place as much as a bug, a bird, or a breeze. And we do have the wisdom to figure out how to share. Nobody buys this liberal versus conservative 1984 endless war garbage that you're pumping out on the airwaves with debates about whether or not murder is okay and then cutting to commercial. You aren't news. You've woken up a critical mass of us who can see it's never been left versus right. It's always been up versus down. Everybody knows that you're all Epstein-class propaganda outlets, including the one I'm talking to you on right now. And it's only a matter of time before we migrate our social network data into publicly owned platforms with user-controlled algorithms. Every single institution run by the pedo ring protectors, from CNN, Goldman Sachs to the New York Times, Visa and MasterCard, still claiming to own our currency and charging us to use it, thinking you can stick cameras on all of us, digital IDs? You have lost the game. The illusion has completely been dispelled. It's vanished. In that whiplash you gave us, abandoning free markets, limited government, states' rights, don't tread on me, and then you bowed down and begged for even bigger, dumber boots on your faces, total submissives, sending in your worst, the rapists, the thieves and murderers, to step on everything you pretended was sacred, the Bible, the Constitution, the graves of your Confederate ancestors, just destined to relive the same mistakes like ghosts in some eternal hell. The thing that you've always wanted most, you have lost. Authority. You don't have any anymore. You've lost everything. And the rest of us, we're good. We're, you could say, woke. We touched some grass and now we're ready to get something to eat. Having put everything into building a life here on this planet, we don't want another world war over nothing. After the carnage of the last one, a catastrophe that you're trying to repeat for humanity to survive and thrive, the greatest scientist that ever lived, Albert Einstein, he laid out what we need to do to, quote, overcome and advance beyond the predatory phase of human development that you're still stuck in. He said we needed to get a new education, one that in addition to helping the individual promote their own innate abilities, would attempt to develop in them a sense of responsibility for our fellows, to replace the glorification of power and success that all of our wisdom traditions have warned against. Or as another poet once said more simply, looking at that same carnage of the last World War, that it is the job of thinking people not to be on the side of the executioner. So for thinking people, this is the time to do our part and be the person that the real history books wrote about, the ones that we needed when we were kids, that our children need us to be now, that our descendants need us to be now. If you have any money in savings or retirement or investments at all, get every penny out of it that you can from the American banks that are financing this monstrosity. Remove any investments from the Fortune 1000 profiting off of this madness. De-Google, dump Amazon, reach out to your neighbors, your friends. Let's prepare for the strikes. We're pulling all support from the crime syndicate. We need to get educated and prepare to mobilize against the machine. We saw what we just did working together. New York is about to provide childcare to 2-year-olds. That wasn't so hard, was it? We can do a lot more if we come together. And right now, if you are one of the rare few so fortunate to have the means and you're working in a job that's not contributing to putting this empire of extraction to sleep, please return to what lit the sparks in your heart when you were a child. That is your guiding light. Reach out to a friend. Start organizing. What is calling us all right now is so much greater than old illusions of nations and tribes, and we are one human family. As our doctor once prescribed, we will either go up together or we will go down together. We've already won. Everybody knows what to do. Let's get to work.